Hello, I'm Hello74, coming with another devlog update for this past month. Starting off with, we have the new area, the tutorial area. It isn't necessarily the best, it isn't finished, it isn't the final one. In fact, I'm probably going to be updating this, making it into a better thing, or simply cutting it all together in place of something like Metroid Prime 2 does, where the tutorial is more or less integrated into the world rather than being a separate entity. As currently the thing that, or the place that this would take, is on a space cruiser or on a spaceship right before the player inevitably goes down to the planet before their major conquest or their major adventure. So starting off with, they'll be given two options. The first option is they can go off and finish the tutorial by going into this sort of spaceship that almost represents something from Halo 2 or Halo 1, where he throws the Marine into the cockpit and they fly off into the ring. Or, if you are new to the game, you are allowed to go through, and it's sort of described within side of the game lore as the pilot inside of the suit needs to test out the suit's mechanics, see how it functions, see what needs to be done. This room in particular will show how damage from poisonous fog will be done, but along with that, it will show that the players need to continue through dangerous areas even if they might take damage. This area, I mixed those two up. This area is just climbing. This area is the one where you have damage. I have yet to implement the damage right on this floor simply because I'm very iffy on this. And me as a visual designer, I'm very, very bad at it. This area will just say, oh, well, the fog is rising, you need to quickly go up here, and then it will come into this area. And this area will sort of be a scenic area where it's showing you the planet. And then if we go further from here, this area will be like, well, the elevator just dropped down fully, or it's stuck up there for some reason. Trust me, your suit will be able to handle this fall even if it needs a recharge at the very end of it. And you can see that by that amount of damage. And then it'll come out and be like, well, you're done with the testing results. Time to head off to the planet. Along with that is essentially as far as I've gotten with level design. As I've seen some other problems with the character, I've seen some other problems with how I've been doing loading. I'm trying to fix those problems so that way when I get into actual development, I don't have to worry about slogging through old code that I may not actually remember what it does, how it functions, so on and so forth. One of the main problems is if we go here and cycle to one of our weapons, no animations, no models, purely programming. So you'll have to trust me on this. When we look up there at the FPS, you can see whenever I fire off the first bullet, it tanks a little bit, which means there's something that's going on. It doesn't happen afterwards at all with this, and I'm very interested in seeing or wondering why that is. I'm just wondering if it's on Godot's end or if it's on my end. I do have an object pool for this. The object pool itself is more or less functioning. It's based more heavily on Godot's own resources, where it uses packaged scenes and you just load in those packaged scenes. However, you can tell that whenever I load in one thing originally, it does take quite a bit of time. So for that, what I'm most likely going to be doing is I'm just going to be instantiating everything into the player and then pulling from that. Now, to continue on, I've attempted to add in sound. Unfortunately, I'm not a sound designer, and most of these sounds are rather horrendous, and I was able to get them from a website called Free Sounds. I'll link into the description below. These sounds that are in this current model of the build, they come from two particular individuals. The running sound that I have, that goes, the running and walking sound both come from the same sound file that I was able to get, with the other sound file being jumping is a completely different one, and I tried to sort of emulate what it might sound like if you were to like use jetpacks almost on your feet. I don't think either worked out too well in the end. In this debug scene, you can see that I have that poisonous fog right here. I don't have any death animation for the player just yet. In fact, that's one of the things I need to continue to work on.